Hello YouTube, I'm Rick Stivers and I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. Today's project is going to be this Penn Wrath II 3000 reel, and all I'm really doing with this reel, it's brand new I believe, and this was left in the back of a pickup truck and it got rained on, and because of that I told my grandson I would bring it home and yank it apart real quick and do a quick cleanup on it. So that's what we're going to do. We're just looking to see if there's got any water intrusion in this reel. Rained pretty hard here in South Texas over the last couple of days, and this one was left in the back. It's been sitting for a day now with the water on it. Let's see if any of it actually got into it, and see if we can't get this up and going again. I don't see any water down inside here. That's good. Let's take the cover off, and we'll pop out the drag washers and see if we got any water down in there. Now, I don't know if this reel belongs to Bo or Max, but I'm gonna tell you guys, don't leave your fishing reels in the back of a truck, especially when it's raining. So these are damp, but they're not wet. So I'm going to squeeze them out just a little bit, and we're going to put some new oil on them, and slap this spool back together. And we'll do a little bit of wiping in here just to make sure everything's dry, and it is. Okay, and we're going to get this line hooked back on the line keeper here and cut off the excess. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and put all this back. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put drag washer in, and we are going to give it 4 drops of oil. And there really doesn't seem to be very much oil on these, so again, this is one of those reels I would recommend if you're buying a brand new one. You might want to take it apart and service it before you take it out and use it, because if this was exposed to any salt water without any more lubrication than what's in here, this would be corroded up in no time. Okay. All right, we got that in. Let's go ahead and put the clip back in. Okay. All right, that's got the spool done. Let's see what we can do with the rest of it. Oh, is this gonna be? I don't think this is a pass-through. Penn doesn't normally have a pass-through reel, but they did. This is a pass-through handle. Okay, instead of a crank-down handle like most Penns I've ever encountered. All right, well, I'm glad I didn't force it. That's looking good. It's got lubricant on it. And let's go ahead. We will take out this bump guard screw here. There we go. And then we'll take out these 4 side screws. Now this one is different from the rest. It's a pan head screw. Okay, set it over here, and these 3 here are going to hold the rest of the cover together. Okay, I'm looking, but there's no water seals in here, so this is not intended for salt water. This is the first one of these Wraths that I've had my hands on. And there's the part number for it. It is a WRTHII 3000. All right, let's go ahead and pop the side cover off. There we go. And we'll wind this down and make sure that the axle shaft is all the way down so we can remove the screw from the axle shaft. Okay, I'll slide out the axle shaft, and now we can take out the main gear. And this looks really good. None of the water seems to have gotten inside, folks. Well, yeah, it did. It's all in here. There's a lot of water. Okay, it's not down in the gears, but it is in the reel. So we're going to go ahead and take this apart, and we will clean out. Let's see, that's screwed in. So we'll take out the screw, and then we'll, there's that screw. And then we'll go ahead and take out the crosswind block. There we go. And we are ready at this point to take out the screw that holds the locking nut on to the spool. And now we'll unscrew said nut. Okay, this reel really has a lot in common with the Penn Fierce that I just did. All right, now if you'll look here, you'll see that the bearing in this Wrath is not sealed like it was in the Fierce. But aside from that, it's pretty much built the same. The anti-reverse assembly here is much smaller than the one that's in the Fierce. Okay, good. And we'll go ahead and wipe out this real quick, and I will be right back with you, and we'll see about assembling it with some new clean grease and get it back together. All right, after closer inspection on this reel, I have determined that I believe that this thing is like a bottom level step of reels. I was of the impression that the Wrath was a higher end reel than what it is, and it's not. This is one of their bottom of the line reels, it appears, because first off, although it does have two axle shaft bearings, it has plastic bushings in the side, both side cases, so it's not really all there. Let's go ahead and see about getting this thing together. And yeah, even the face of the crosswind block, there's not a very large face there for it to lay up against the crosswind gear. So yeah, it's not real high-end reel. So let's see about getting this thing back together. We're going to start off with the pinion. Make sure that you've got your shim on the pinion. Next is going to go the small bearing. I'm going to wipe this excess grease off. I'm going to oil that bearing. Okay, I'm going to oil it. Okay, next is going to go the anti-reverse bearing. Goes on like so, and I'm going to put a little grease inside the anti-reverse, and we'll slip this back on. I think I will. Here we go. Goes in. Slide that down like that. Then we're going to put this bearing on, and don't lose this shim. The shim has to be on there. Okay, all of that back in place. This is going to sit right back down inside here like that, and it should fit flush like that. Okay, once that's done, you can put your bearing retainer back on and put these 3 screws back in. Okay, if you have all this installed correctly, you should be able to rotate the pinion one way and not the other way. Okay, should go rotate in the clockwise position and not rotate in the counterclockwise. Okay, that's good. Let's go ahead and put some grease on the pinion gear. Now really you don't have to do that as long as you grease the main gear well. But just make sure that one of the two of them gets well greased. And I went through and I took all the grease, or most of the grease out of this anyway, so that I could get the water out. Because there's little traces of water all over this thing. Okay, we're going to go ahead and grease this gear. This is our crosswind gear. And make sure that you've greased the teeth. And now we'll set this back down in there on that post. And rotate it around to where this post is down to the rear. And now we're going to put this keeper screw back in. Okay, that's got that in. All right. Next to go is going to be this crosswind block. And we'll grease it up good on the bottom side, although there's not much bottom side to it to slide on there. Okay, we're going to slide it in and put that groove. See this groove right here? Well, that groove goes onto that post right there on the gear. Okay, slide it in. One end has to go up under this plate over here, and then it sits in place like that. With that done, now we're going to come back and we're going to grease our main gear. And we don't want to get too carried away. Take some of that excess out. There we go. All right. Once we got that greased up well, slide it down in here and there we go. All the way down like so. All right. Next to go on is going to be this shim right here. Slide that on. And now we're going to wipe off this axle shaft and I'm going to oil it. And, oh, no, we're not going with that yet. Next to go on, because Chris would have laughed. He said, "You did it again." No, next is going to go on the rotor. And remember, you got to make sure that that shim is in place right there. So slide your rotor in place. Like so. Make sure that your washer is installed. Install the nut. Screw it down. Tighten it down. And now that should turn okay. And I'm going to put that on in just a minute. Okay, before you put the axle shaft in, this is one of these things I'm coming back to. The rest of this reel's already been together except for this part. Before you put the axle shaft in, make sure that you put this keeper back in because it will not fit in after you put the axle in. Okay, so this is a reshoot where I've gone back and made sure to put this in. So don't forget to do it before you put the axle in or you're gonna. Okay, with that done, we can go ahead and put our axle shaft in. And we will take this little teeny screw back here, line up the hole on the axle shaft with the hole in the crosswind block, and we'll put the screw in. Don't over torque it, but make sure it's snug. Then we're going to go ahead, remember, make sure that shim is in. Put the side plate back on, snap it down, and let's go ahead and put one screw in just to hold this for a minute. We should be able to give this a spin, and it should spin up just fine. And it does. We should be able to trip the bail, and it does. Okay. Let's go ahead and put the rest of these screws back in. Okay, we're going to put the crank handle back on, tighten it down. Okay, listen very carefully. Let's see if you can hear it. When I pull out on the handle, hear that grind? Push in on the handle, it's not there at all. Okay, that means this thing needs to be shimmed. Okay, it's got a little bit of play in it. So we're going to add another shim into here and see if we can improve that. Okay, I bought a bunch of these shims a while back. They're stainless steel. I bought them off of Amazon. And they're really dirt cheap. And let's see if adding one or two of these to this doesn't make it right better. I think they're 1.1 millimeter thick. I'll double check that real quick. Yeah, they're 0.1 millimeter thick. So I've just added 0.2 millimeters of thickness to this. And close this up. Squeeze it tight. And screw this back down. It's still got a little bit of play, but I've got no grind either way, no matter how I push or pull the handle. I think I'm going to try to add one more. And I think that's going to, it may be too much. I may have to take it back out. Well, you know what? I haven't screwed this down. Let's go ahead and put a screw in it and see how it rides then. Adding one more 0.1 millimeter might be too much. Okay. That's a really good fit, but I'm going to add one more. I think it can stand to have just a little bit more play taken out of the gear lash. So we're going to do it. If it's too tight, it'll let me know. Now, other people like to super tune reels by adding bearings. Me, I really enjoy shimming them because it tends to make them perform so much smoother. Okay, one more, and we're going to call that good. Put the screw in it. Okay. Slip in the handle. Tighten down the screw. Okay. There's just like practically no play whatsoever. That feels wonderful. All right. Go ahead and get the rest of the screws back in this thing. Good. Okay. Let's put the base cover back on. And screw this one back in. All right, once you've got it up to this point, it's now time to put the spool back on. So let's set it in place. And let's go ahead, before we do, put a drop of oil on the clicker here and a drop of oil on the spring, and that'll help protect them from getting corroded. There we go. Slide that back on. All right. The only thing that I haven't done is taken this bail apart, and I don't plan to. It doesn't really need it. All we're going to do is add a little oil to the roller, a little oil to the sides right here, because any water that might have gotten in there is going to dry out okay. Okay. There we go. So there is the Penn Wrath II 3000. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Tell me what you didn't like about it. And for now, that's Rick Stivers of the Young Martin's Reels, signing out.